Hello and welcome to Bible Study with Alison. Today we're on day 44, Psalm 44 of our daily psalm reading. We're reading from the ESV translation, but you're more than welcome to join us from a different translation. As you can see, we're on Psalm 44. These videos are filmed in real time. Today's date's the 17th of December 24 and it's a Tuesday. To make you aware quickly that next week is the festive period, Christmas, whichever title you want to call it. And on the 25th and the 26th, these videos that will be uploaded will be pre-recorded, and I will get them recorded on Christmas Eve because I'm going to be celebrating Christmas Day and Boxing Day with my family. Just want to make you aware of that. And also, there is a disclaimer as usual, and that is one, these videos are unedited and also I'll probably stumble on my wording. Let's get started. Come to our help, to the choir master, a maskell of the son of Korah. O God, we have heard with our ears, our father has told us, what deed you performed in their days, in the day of old. You with their own hand drove out of the nations, but then you planted. You afflicted the people, but then you set free. For not by their own sword did they win the land, nor did their own arm save them. But your right hand and your arm and the light of your face, for you delighted in them. You are my King, O God, ordained salvation for Jacob, though you were pushed down our foes. Through your name we treaded down those who rise up against us, for not in the bow do I trust, nor can my sword save me. But you have saved us from our foes, and have put to shame those who hate us. If God have boasted us continually, and we will give thanks to your name forever. Salam. But you have rejected us and disgraced us, and have not gone out with our armies. You have made us turn back from the foes, and those who hate us have gotten spoil. You have made us like sheep for slaughter, and have scattered us among the nations. You have sold your people for trifle, I think that is. If you know what that word is, please comment in the box below. Demanding no high price for them, you have made us the taunt of our neighbour, the desertion and the scorn of those around us. You have made us bywords among the nations, a laughing stock among the people all day long. My disgrace is before me, and shame has covered my face at the sound of the taunters and revilers, at the sight of the enemy and the avengers. All this has come upon us, though we have not forgotten you, and we have not been false to your covenant. Our hearts have not turned back, nor have our steps departed from your ways. Yet you have broken us in the place of jackals, and covered us with the shadow of death. If we had forgotten the name of our God, or spared out our hands to the foreign god, would not God discover this? For he knows the secrets of our heart. Yet for the sake we were killed all the day long, we were regarded as sheep to be slaughtered. Awake, why are you sleeping, O Lord? Rouse yourself, do not reject us forever. Why do you hide your face? Why do you forget afflictions and oppressions? For our soul is bowed down to the dust, our belly clings to the ground. Rise up, come to our help, redeem us for the sake of your steadfast love. So that is Psalm 44 complete. And tomorrow we will be doing Psalm 45. For those who are new, I'll put onto the screen now a post-it note, and it will talk briefly about what the psalm is about, Also, to make you aware that a lot of the Psalms in the book of Psalms are unknown, and that is the date and also the author. Some of the authors are King David, but a lot of them are unknown. And also, in particular, when the psalm says unknown, as in the date, that is because historians and scholars aren't sure of when that psalm was written on the time period, but sometimes they do know by events that could have occurred when it's likely to have been written. With Psalm 44, the date is unknown. It is a psalm of a lament. It's a community lament, which we will discuss afterwards. It expresses the Israelites' suffering and calls out to God for rescue. The Israelites' suffering, call to God and trust in God. We will also talk about this bit here. So obviously I put unknown, which is just there. That also means the author's unknown. So the top bit here, the psalm is titled To the Chief Musician and is a contemplation of the sons of Korah, who were Levites who served in the temple. The bit in the middle, so when I said about they're not sure when psalms were written, but they kind of go by events, this bit here is kind of the sort of event they think, when I say they, that's historians and scholars. So it could be from the exile period, or the days of the Maccabees, or from the days of Israel's monarchy. And then the last bit, encouraging in the sense that it reminds us that life is not always easy and that God accepts people's questioning and concern. So with the book of Psalms, there are a lot of times when the Psalms can relate to, or even any part in the Bible can relate to, modern day issues or anything that's going on in the modern times. So with this bit here, it's basically explaining that it gives Psalm 44 gives us encouragement in the sense that it reminds us that life isn't always easy, which we should know that it's not, and that God will accept people, and it doesn't matter which people it is, it could be anybody, even if they're questioning God, questioning beliefs of what's going on in the world, questioning anything, any questions they have, or even the concerns they have, God will still accept that person for who they are, even if there are questions and concerns being raised. There is a lot of suffering going on in the world, and a lot of people will be questioning that, like, why has God allowed the suffering that's going on? Why has he allowed people to die? Case in point, like, why did he allow the Ukrainian war, the war in Israel with the Jewish people and the Muslim people in Gaza Strip? You could say, like, why did God allow COVID-19 to happen? Why did he allow that pandemic to kill all those people? You could say that. Then you could go further back in time and go into, like, why did God allow World War I and World War II to happen? Why did he allow the 9/11 events happen? There's so many things that you could go back on and be like, why did he allow that to happen? People will question that, and God will still accept those people regardless of those questioning thoughts and their concerns they have. God will still accept those people. So even though all those events had happened and people do question why did all those innocent people have to die, which is a very, very valid point, to be fair, he still accepts those people who have those questioning thoughts. He still believes in those people. He still wants them to, they're still his children at the end of the day. spirit children at that. He still see everybody as his children. So who knows why he allows all this to happen. Only God will, at the end of the day, fully understand why he allowed that all to happen. But that's not for this video. It's just obviously explaining that bit at the bottom. And then with Salal, I'll go a bit further on in. With that part there, only in one, double checking, yeah, it's only been mentioned once throughout Psalm 44. And we will go back a bit to that. So right at the top here, so Salam is a rest, a pause, or reflection. So we'll go, I'll zoom back out a bit and then we can go back. So when it gets mentioned here, go back in again, that is kind of a rest, a pause, or reflection in that particular psalm. So that's what that means. It just basically means that at that point in the psalm, there is a rest period. So the psalmist could have a break, basically, like rest themselves from singing. If like there obviously are psalms that are songs. So it could be like when they're singing, they could just take a break. When they're just having a prayer, just have a break, pause for a second. It's like just having a pause here. Or even a reflection on what's been discussed prior to that. So that's what Salam means. And I mentioned community lament, which is just here. So community lament expresses sorrow for a nation suffering, asks for God's help. Deep sorrow for a nation suffering, asking for God's blessing, intervention, addresses to God, description of the complaint, request for God's help, expression of trust in God. And then obviously those are the psalms that are a community lament. We are in Psalm 44, which is just there. And a community lament is usually done by one person that has been picked from the community. And they will read the psalm or the lament on behalf of the community. So a way that I can describe a lament, a community lament, is, for example, on a Sabbath, on a Sunday, when we go to church, we will have somebody will stand up and will do a prayer, and it could include all sorts of types of things about the world that's going on, like if there's any issues going on that people want to address, if there's any issues going on within that particular church community, that can also be seen as a community lament. Somebody could be battling an illness, could have suffered a loss, as in somebody might have passed on, or could have had some issues going on in their life that they feel they want their community of people to pray for them on. So it's normally the person who is, depending on which church we're talking about, there are some churches where they will pick a person to stand up and do the prayer, and that would be considered as a community lament. It could be the vicar, the bishop, whichever you want to call the person who's in charge. They could do the community lament on behalf of the church community. As I said, it's depending on which church you go to. Depends on how that would then unfold. So that is what a community lament is. And I will now write in the day and the date. I always do this because it helps me to feel accountable for doing it, and it also helps me to know where I am at with my psalms, and also it helps me to just like I said, to feel accountable. If you're doing this in real time with me, it might just well help you to feel accountable that somebody else is doing it with you. So all works well in the end. And also each day, so each psalm represents a day. So I've been doing these psalms for 44 days, and I have to admit I quite like doing them. So it has helped me over the last 44 days to feel accountable for my Bible study, because I'm on the belief that even if you do one psalm, or even if you do one verse, so you could just do verse 1, as long as you're doing something, I'm on the belief that that's a good thing. At least you're getting into the Word of God. Even if you just feel that you're struggling that one day and you just want to open your Bible up and you open up on verse 43, and we're not on Psalm 43, you can always go back to that and be like, I want to watch that video and I want to do that psalm. So it works out well there. So that's why I do it, is to help me feel accountable and also to encourage you to open up your Bible. And with the translation, it doesn't matter on what translation you do. I personally like the King James Version, but with the way I stumble on wording, I will stick with the ESV translation for these videos. Who knows, in time I might go over to that book, to that translation. And also, it doesn't matter what translation you read from. It could be any translation, as long as you're understanding what's inside the Bible is all that matters. So I will write in a 44, and we're on the 17th of the 12th. That's 2, 4. So that is Psalm 44 complete. Tomorrow we will be doing Psalm 45. As you can see, be this one here. And so that will be that. Please like my content. Please subscribe to my channel, which I would really appreciate. And please turn on the notification bell to get updates of future content I'll upload to the channel. Thank you and goodbye.